in a very difficult game. It's tough to be down, really through the whole game, and just hang in there and, close the gap, have the lead extend, close the gap again, have the lead extend. And we just didn't capitulate to that.
What was the difference over here, Quin? What was the difference, especially in that fourth quarter when you guys went on that 12-0 run? Where did you see, defensively, you were able to get stops?
I think sometimes the game is about making plays, and got our hands on a couple balls, came up with some rebounds that, were 50-50 balls. Trae tipped one, on a rebound that he couldn't get. And I thought, offensively, we played at a good tempo, and that started with Trae. He just, I thought earlier in the game there were times he just, he knows he wants to make a play, and as the game went on, I thought his pace got even more controlled, and that allows his reads to be better. And we made some shots, and a bunch of guys in the fourth quarter because we kept shooting.
And speaking of those shots, 19 made threes. Like, how were you guys able to take advantage, especially on the perimeter? Because I know that's something that Boston does well, and you were able to limit them, and you guys made all the shots.
You pick your poison with Boston as far as, I felt like we gave up the rim in the first half, and that to me was, it wasn't a tactical adjustment as much as it was just an emphasis. And our guys heard what we talked about, and we began to shift a little more, help a little more timely, and with the shots, it's we've said it, and guys are starting to say it to each other. It was great to see Trae. What did he take? 13 threes. I think I can't read anymore with my, and JC took 9. And sometimes the ball doesn't go in right away, but we have confidence in each other taking those shots and want to keep shooting. That's kind of how the game went.
Well, when did you or Trae maybe make the decision that he was going to play the entire second half, and what did you see from him out there?
This is, this team, it's challenging, to substitute at various times, because we've got a lot of guys that want to make contributions. In that case, we were going to run him the whole first and third, and, which we did in the first. And at the end of the third, felt like we needed to be right there and keep the game close. And he was long timeouts, a quarter break. So I'm not sure a minute or two here or there. Sometimes it can settle you as much as anything. I don't know that you find a reservoir of energy, coming out of the game, in some of these moments for guys that, in pretty good shape.
And then obviously I'm sure you and all the players know you guys were pretty lopsided underdogs coming into this game. What was Trae in particular like behind the scenes, whether before the game, halftime, on the bench? What was his attitude like?
Really, we didn't talk about that. We've been focused on ourselves, and I think we have to be to play well. If our motivation, if we find things externally, to be our source of motivation, I don't think you can rely on that. And so whatever, I understand, people are making rational choices, but that doesn't mean, that we have to listen. We just got to play and compete, and I think that's what we did. And we hung in there. So I'm proud of our competitiveness and, it's a mental toughness as much as anything to continue to compete. And felt like we had lapses, and that was as much as anything the focal point of what we wanted to do.
Quin, I know you weren't here a couple of years ago when Trae went off in the playoffs, but he can have these performances. What is it that you've noticed in your time with him that can allow him to lock in a clutch moment?
Yeah, I think, I mentioned before, there's lots of little things that if you're around him, you start to see that, when he does them, I think the game is easier for him, and he's so quick. I've said it before. He can't. He has to utilize space because he's so good in space, and that's why his willingness to shoot the ball is so important. There's always there's a coach who go like, but it's a mindset as much as anything, and I don't want to change any of our guys' mindset in that regard. I feel like we can stay aggressive, and we can coach him through that.